Learn English through story. The Little Red Umbrella. It was a rainy afternoon, and Mia stood at the bus stop, hugging her backpack tightly. She had forgotten her umbrella at home, and now she was getting wet. She sighed, watching the cars splash water on the road. Next to her, an old man was sitting on a bench. He had no umbrella either, and his thin jacket was already soaked. Mia felt sorry for him. Suddenly, a girl walked toward them. She had a bright red umbrella, large enough for 2 people. Without hesitation, she stepped closer and held it over the old man. "Here, you can share my umbrella," she said with a smile. The old man looked up, surprised. "Thank you, dear. That is very kind of you." Mia watched as the girl stood there, getting half wet herself just to keep the old man dry. Then, the girl turned to her. "You can stand under it too," she said. Mia hesitated, then stepped closer. "Thank you," she said softly. The bus arrived, and they all got on. The old man found a seat. Still smiling, Mia sat next to the girl and finally asked, "Why did you do that?" The girl shrugged. "Because kindness spreads. My grandmother always says that if you help someone, it will come back to you one day." Mia thought about that as she got off the bus. That night, she found an old umbrella in her closet. The next morning, she carried it in her bag, just in case she ever had the chance to do the same for someone else. The New Kid. Ethan sat at his desk, watching the new kid from the corner of his eye. The boy, Lucas, had just moved to their town. He sat alone at lunch and barely talked in class. At recess, Ethan saw Lucas sitting on a bench, reading a book. Other kids were playing soccer, laughing and shouting. Ethan hesitated. He didn't know Lucas well, but he looked lonely. Taking a deep breath, Ethan walked over. "Hey," he said. "What book are you reading?" Lucas looked up, surprised. It's about space," he mumbled. Ethan's eyes lit up. "I love space. Did you know that Jupiter has 79 moons?" Lucas blinked, then nodded slowly. "Yeah, and one of them, Europa, might have an ocean under its surface." Ethan grinned. "Whoa, you know a lot. Want to come play soccer with us?" Lucas hesitated. "I'm not very good." "That's okay," Ethan said. "You can be on my team." Lucas smiled, closing his book. "Okay." That afternoon, Lucas ran and laughed with the other kids for the first time. From that day on, he and Ethan became best friends, and Ethan realized that sometimes, all it takes to change someone's day is a simple "hey." The Lost Wallet. Mrs. Parker was rushing through the busy market, carrying bags of groceries. As she reached into her purse to pay the vendor, she gasped her wallet was gone. "Oh no," she whispered, checking her pockets. She must have dropped it somewhere. A few streets away, Leo, a 10-year-old boy, was walking home when he saw something brown on the sidewalk. He picked it up, a wallet. He opened it carefully and saw an ID card inside. "Mrs. Parker," it said. Leo recognized her name. She lived in his neighborhood. He looked around, wondering what to do. He could take it home, or he could try to find her. He turned back toward the market, scanning the crowd. Finally, he spotted her, looking worried. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said, stepping forward. "Is this yours?" Mrs. Parker's eyes widened. "Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. Thank you, dear. She opened it and saw everything inside. You are such an honest boy. Let me give you something for your kindness. Leo shook his head. No, thank you. My mom says doing the right thing is its own reward. Mrs. Parker smiled. Your mother raised you well. That evening, as Leo sat at the dinner table, his mom smiled at him. I heard what you did today, she said. Leo grinned. He felt warm inside, knowing he had done the right thing. The Stray Kitten. Sophie loved animals. Every afternoon, she walked home from school through the park, watching the birds and squirrels. But one day, she heard a soft cry near a bench. She stopped and looked around. Under the bench, a tiny gray kitten with big green eyes was shivering. Its fur was dirty, and it looked scared. Oh, you poor thing, Sophie whispered. Kneeling down, she reached out her hand carefully, and the kitten hesitated before sniffing her fingers. Sophie looked around. No one else seemed to notice the kitten. Did someone leave you here? She asked. She took off her scarf and gently wrapped the kitten in it. She knew she couldn't leave it alone. When she got home, her mother smiled. Another rescue. Sophie. Sophie nodded. Can we take care of it? Her mom sighed playfully. I suppose we can try. Over the next few weeks, Sophie fed the kitten, cleaned it, and played with it. Slowly, the little cat became stronger and happier. One afternoon, as she sat reading, the kitten curled up in her lap and purred. Sophie smiled. She had found a new friend and given the kitten a second chance at life. The Lunchbox Secret. Danny noticed something strange at school. Every day, his classmate Ben ate very little at lunch, just a small piece of bread or an apple. Danny, on the other hand, always had a full lunchbox packed by his mom. One day, as they sat together, Danny asked, "Aren't you hungry?" Ben hesitated before answering, "I have to save my food for later." Danny frowned. Something wasn't right. That evening, he told his mom, "I think Ben doesn't have enough food." His mother thought for a moment. "Would you like to share your lunch with him?" Danny nodded. The next day, when lunchtime came, he slid half of his sandwich onto Ben's tray. "Here, I have too much today," he said casually. Ben's eyes widened. "Really?" Danny smiled. "Yeah, and you should try these cookies. My mom makes the best ones." From that day on, Danny always packed a little extra in his lunchbox. He never said it was charity, just sharing with a friend. And Ben? He never felt alone at lunchtime again. A Christmas surprise. Lily loved Christmas, but this year, something felt different. Her best friend Emma seemed sad. "What's wrong?" Lily asked. Emma sighed. "My dad lost his job last month. We won't have presents this year." Lily's heart ached for her friend. That night, she had an idea. She told her parents, and they agreed to help. On Christmas Eve, Lily left a small bag in front of Emma's door. Inside were a few wrapped gifts, a warm scarf, and a card that said, "From someone who cares." The next morning, when Emma saw the gifts, she was shocked. "Who did this?" she wondered. "School," she told Lily. "Someone left presents at my house. It was a miracle." Lily just smiled. She didn't say anything, but inside, she felt warm. Sometimes, kindness didn't need a name. The broken bicycle. Noah loved riding his bicycle, but one day, as he was on his way to the park, his tire suddenly popped. He sighed, getting off to check. The rubber was completely flat. He looked around. He was too far from home, and he didn't have a phone. Just as he was wondering what to do, an older boy rode up. "Need help?" the boy asked. Noah nodded. "Yeah, my tire's flat." The boy, whose name was James, smiled. "I live nearby. My dad has a repair kit. Come with me." Noah hesitated but followed him. At James' house, his dad helped patch up the tire. "There you go," James said, handing Noah his bike. "Wow, thank you." Noah grinned. "I didn't know what I was going to do." James shrugged. "No problem. Just help someone else one day." That evening, as Noah rode home, he smiled to himself. He would definitely pass on the kindness. The library friend. Ava loved books, but reading out loud made her nervous. Every time she had to read in class, she stumbled over words and felt embarrassed. One afternoon, she went to the library and saw Mia, the smartest girl in her class, reading alone. Ava hesitated but finally walked over. "Hi, what are you reading?" Mia looked up. "A mystery book. Do you want to read together?" Ava blushed. "I'm not very good at reading aloud." Mia smiled. "That's okay. We can take turns. I'll help you." Slowly, Ava read the first page. Mia didn't laugh or correct her. She just waited patiently. Every day after school, they met at the library. Ava practiced reading, and Mia encouraged her. A few weeks later, when the teacher asked Ava to read in class, she took a deep breath and started. She still made mistakes, but this time, she didn't feel scared. At the end of class, she looked at Mia and smiled. Friendship wasn't just about playing together. It was about lifting each other up. The helping hand. Leo was new at school, and everything felt different. The hallways were bigger, the faces unfamiliar, and worst of all, he had no friends. One afternoon, while carrying his lunch tray to a table, he tripped. His food spilled all over the floor. The cafeteria went silent, and a few kids laughed. Leo's face turned red. He wanted to disappear. Then, a hand reached out. A girl named Hannah knelt beside him. "It's okay. Let's clean this up." Leo blinked. "You're not laughing?" Hannah smiled. "Why would I? Accidents happen." Together, they picked up the tray. The cafeteria returned to normal. But for Leo, everything had changed. He wasn't invisible anymore. From that day on, he and Hannah became good friends. And whenever he saw someone else struggling, he remembered how much a simple act of kindness had meant to him. The birthday invitation. Jake always had big birthday parties. But this year, something was different. His mom gave him a small list of guests to invite. "Just close friends," she said. Jake wrote down his best friends' names. Then, he thought of Sam. Sam sat alone at lunch and never got invited to birthday parties. "Mom, can I invite one more person?" She smiled. "Of course." When Jake handed out invitations at school, Sam looked surprised. "Me? Are you sure?" "Yeah, it's going to be fun," Jake said. On the day of the party, Sam was the first to arrive. He played games, ate cake, and laughed more than he ever had before. At the end of the party, he whispered, "Thanks, Jake. No one's ever invited me before. Jake realized that the best part of his birthday wasn't the cake or presents. It was making someone feel included. The neighbor's garden. Mrs. Wilson, the old woman who lived next door, had the most beautiful garden. She spent hours watering her flowers and trimming her hedges. One day, Mia noticed that Mrs. Wilson wasn't outside like usual. She asked her mom, "Where's Mrs. Wilson? She hurt her leg last week." Her mom said, "She's resting inside." Mia looked at the garden. Without care, the flowers would wilt. She made a decision. That afternoon, she grabbed the watering can and started helping. Every day, she watered the plants and pulled out weeds. A week later, Mrs. Wilson came outside with a cane. When she saw Mia working, her eyes filled with tears. "Oh, dear, you've kept my garden alive." Mia smiled. "I just wanted to help." Mrs. Wilson hugged her. "You have a kind heart." From then on, Mrs. Wilson taught Mia how to care for the flowers, and their friendship grew as beautifully as the garden itself. The forgotten lunch. Mark was starving. He opened his backpack to get his lunch, but it wasn't there. He had forgotten it at home. He sighed. It was going to be a long afternoon. Across the table, his classmate Olivia noticed his empty hands. Without saying a word, she slid half of her sandwich toward him. Mark blinked. "Are you sure?" Olivia grinned. "Yeah, my mom always packs too much anyway." Mark took a bite. "This is really good." That afternoon, he went home and told his mom, "I want to pack extra food tomorrow." The next day, when Olivia forgot her lunch, Mark was ready. He handed her a sandwich and smiled. Kindness, he realized, was something you could pass on. The rescue team. The town had been hit by heavy rain for days, and the river was rising fast. Many people had to leave their homes, including an elderly couple, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. Jason and his father were part of the volunteer rescue team, as they helped families evacuate. Jason noticed the Thompsons struggling with their bags. "Dad, can I help them?" Jason asked. His father nodded. "Of course." Jason ran over and took Mrs. Thompson's bag. "Let me carry this for you." "Thank you, dear," she said. "We're not as strong as we used to be." Jason helped them into the rescue truck and made sure they were safe. That evening, as he sat by the fire at home, he felt proud. He had always thought heroes wore capes, but today, he had learned that real heroes were just people who chose to help. The paper crane. Emma's little brother, Oliver, was in the hospital. He had been sick for weeks, and she wanted to cheer him up. School. Her teacher showed the class how to fold paper cranes. Emma had an idea. That afternoon, she folded 50 colorful cranes and placed them in a box. When she visited Oliver, she set them on his hospital bed. "What's this?" Oliver asked. "A box of wishes," Emma said. "Each crane is a wish for you to get better." Oliver's eyes lit up. "Really?" Emma nodded. "And if you get better soon, we'll make 100 more." From that day on, Oliver kept the cranes by his bed. They reminded him that he wasn't alone. Sometimes, the best gifts weren't toys or gadgets. They were the ones made with love. The park bench. Every Sunday, Noah and his mom went to the park. They always saw the same old man sitting alone on a bench, feeding the birds. One day, Noah walked up to him. "Hi, I'm Noah." The man smiled. "Hello, Noah. I'm Mr. Harris. Why do you always sit here alone?" Noah asked. Mr. Harris sighed. "I used to come here with my wife, but she passed away." Noah's heart ached. He thought for a moment, then sat down beside him. "Can I sit with you?" he asked. Mr. Harris chuckled. "Of course." Every Sunday after that, Noah sat with Mr. Harris. They talked about life, birds, and memories. One day, Noah brought his mom. Then, he invited his friend. Soon, Mr. Harris wasn't alone anymore. Kindness, Noah realized, could be as simple as sitting beside someone who needed a friend.